Hello grade 10s. Today we're going to continue with perimeters, but we're going to do a much more accurate method, and that is by using formulae. Now formula without the E is the singular, and when you put the E on the end and you say formulae, that is actually the plural. Now in tests and exams, you're always going to be given the correct formula that you have to use. However, you have to be able to identify where the measurements must be substituted into the formula. Okay, let's start with our formula for a square. As you know, your square has got 4 sides that are all equal. Okay, so our perimeter of our square is going to be the sum of all of those. That's length plus length plus length plus length. Or a simpler way of saying it is just 4 times L. And in maths, we don't actually write the times sign, so you can just put, say, 4L. The L, instead of being an L for length, it could also be an S for side. Okay, let's have a look at a rectangle. Yeah, so here we've got a rectangle, and it's got 2 equal lengths and 2 equal breadths. Okay, so our perimeter of our rectangle is going to be length plus length plus your breadth plus your breadth. Instead of writing it like that, you can say it is 2 times L, which we just write as 2L, plus 2 times B, which is 2B. We were, in fact, using the formula in the last lesson, where we had some lengths and breadths, and I automatically multiplied them by 2. Okay, let's have a look at an example. Okay, Melinda wants to build a fence around her garden to keep the rabbits out. Okay, so that's going to be around her garden. Now, the length of her garden is 120 centimeters, and the width of her garden is 180 centimeters. Okay, now the first thing you do when you're going to do any of these questions, it's a good idea to draw a diagram. So let's see what the diagram looks like. Okay, so it is a rectangular garden, and we've got a length of 180 centimeters and a width or a breadth of 120 centimeters. So the first thing we want to know is, how much fencing is she going to need? So the question might not say find the perimeter. It's just in the format of how much fencing will she need. So then you need to realize, because of the context here, we are looking for the perimeter of this rectangle. Okay, so our perimeter, let's start with our formula. So it's 2 lengths plus 2 breadths. Remember, as I said, you will actually be given the formula. So if we have a look at these, this is going to be our length, and this one over here is going to be our breadth. Okay, so let's substitute those in. So it's going to be 2 times 180 plus 2 times 120. Okay, so let's get the calculator for this. Okay, so we've got 2 times 180 plus 2 times 120. And that gives us a total of 600. Okay, so this is going to be 600 centimeters. Now, it's also a good place where they could have asked you a conversion question, and they could have asked what the perimeter of the fencing is, what the length of the fencing is in terms of meters. So if we were looking for meters, okay, they could have asked you to go and convert this into meters. So if you converted this to meters, it would become 6 meters. Remember, there's 100 centimeters in every 1 meter. Now let's look at the second part of this question. Okay, so the second part of the question says, if the fencing costs 38 Rand per meter, okay, how much will the fencing cost Melinda? Okay, so even if we hadn't converted into meters in the last question, we would have had to do that for this question over here. Okay, so the perimeter we said was 6 meters. So what do we do to find our cost? we're going to take our number of meters and multiply it by the cost per meter, which is 38. Okay, so let's have a look at what that is. So it's going to be 6 times 38. That gives us 228. Don't forget, this is money, so it has to be rands. You don't have to put down the 2 decimal places here because this is a whole number of rands. But do remember to put your unit in. And now it's your turn to do a question. And let's have a look at your question. Grace is making a display board for the school talent show. And the display board is 1,8 meters by 3,4 meters, and it is a rectangle. She needs to add a ribbon border around the entire display board. The first thing I want you to do is to draw a diagram showing the measurements. When you've done that, I want you to calculate the length of ribbon that she needs. And then the last question, if the ribbon costs 85 cents per meter and it can only be bought in whole meters, how much will the ribbon cost in rands?